And we are here. Where is here? Where is here? We are here on Facebook. We are here on Twitter. We are here on my YouTube channel. We are here. We are everywhere. And everybody, by now, if you know, if you follow Kitty and I, when Kitty and I come together, we come here for two reasons. One, we come so her and I can play together. Two, we come so we can provide insight for you guys because there's always a lot going on when Kitty and I come together. I mean, sometimes the information Kitty shares with me blows my hat right off my head.
Well,
So
and
I
I
had
love
a
to have the number perspective too that we use. It's always a unfolding, ever unfolding rose kind of energy.
yes, yes, yes. And I was mentioning to Kitty earlier today, and I want to put this out there because I'm actually being guided to put it out there. There must be a reason why I'm being guided to put it out there. But today, while I was out and about doing one of my errands, I had chatted with these two employees at the place that I was at and found out that one of them was an astrologer. Now, I've connected with these two employees, oh my God, for probably the last 2 years. And today is the first time that he and I realized, like, oh my God. And I don't remember how the conversation even came up that led us to, you're an astrologer, so am I. And then I gave him a whole list of things of the other things that I did as well. So of course he ended up taking my card because he feels he needs some energy work. Why I share this with everybody is because it's important. Start letting people know that you follow astrology or you follow numerology, because we are in a time now where we're going to find out there's a lot more people out there that are doing this, and it's no longer hush hush. There's so many of us out there, right,
Well,
Kitty? So many people out there like this.
well, yes, that's why it's this interesting title is the understanding of the you energies. There are just so many, early this month, very clearly I was told we will have different definitions of abundance. And that's what part of this is, putting things out there, putting is creating. We have a soul family and we have a soul tribe. And so your soul family is really important right now. We'll be talking about that with your you energies, because these are the people where it's safe to clean your closet out right now. Does this fit? Does this not fit? These people that will be honest, that will hold the space for you while you figure things out. Just today I had a conversation with a friend of mine that's in Egypt, in voicemail text, and she was wondering about something. And I said, there are really kinds of three people. And I learned this very recently. Somebody put it really succinctly. Three kinds of people we go to: people to hold our space, people to give us advice, and the third one is those people that we exchange the energy with for a short period of time and on we move, and just to hang out with and have fun and stay much more in that surface area. And in a soul family, you kind of have all three of those. And one of the things we have to learn to do is ask, do you want me to give you advice? Do you want me just to listen? Or do you want me to hold some space and kind of see what comes on? This is that consciousness stretch that we've been talking about. This is our new definitions of abundance. This is that energy of that Capricorn that Pluto has gone back in to help us restructure so we can do the things we're being asked to take a look at. So it's very important that you let people know, but especially right now when the sun is in Cancer, in a safe place where you hope to have the space held that you need. So, but anyway, so that's why the understanding of the you energies, we got Venus in Leo, we've got Mars in Leo, we're going to head into Leo. We have a Capricorn full moon coming, which is very much about the bigger energies and the structures we're in, that kind of human potential energy. And, it is such a interesting time for what the you energies are asking us to do and not do, because we have all these planets retrograde. As a matter of fact, this week, Neptune goes in. We'll have 3 outer planets in retrograde: Pluto, Saturn, and Neptune. Those are big, big planets that move slowly but are profound changes in retrograde. Joanne's checking all her platforms.
Yes, that's why I'm so quiet, people. I had us going and I shared it out to a few people to invite them to come watch us because I always like to have an audience. And I was also taking some notes. So as Kitty was talking about the three types of people, we have those who hold space for us, people that give us advice, and the third one, which was a really, really long one, I didn't get to write that down. So what was the third one?
The third one is the people that we kind of play with, that are there they're not necessarily there to listen, but they're there to, well, actually they kind of are just to listen, and kind of interact with us, but not necessarily hold the space or give us advice,
Got it,
so
got it. Yes.
and it's something we learn to ask people, what is it you need from me? And therein is that be curious, not judgmental. Do you really know when somebody calls? Sometimes we just want somebody to vent to, so we just want them to listen.
Which is what I was just about to say. It almost sounds like there's a program, and I forget the exact name of the program, but it's when two people come together to communicate. It's about active listening. You give that person a role. So let's say if I called up Kitty and I just wanted to vent, I'm going to let Kitty know in the beginning of the conversation, hey, Kitty, I'm not looking for your advice. So that means that she doesn't have to be in her head trying to figure something out for me. And I'm not looking for you to give me a solution. All I need to know,
or hold the space, or comfort me. Yeah.
It's just to hold space for me so I can just vent. Let me just vent it out. Let me just vomit all over you is basically what it is. So right off the back, then Kitty knows that she has no responsibility other than holding love and light for me while I vomit. Now, if in fact I call her up and say, hey, Kitty, I need some guidance. I need some support. So that now means that she's going to have to be in her intuitive mindset of knowing that at the end of my vomiting, I need her to give me some insight.
Right. So, and I kind of look at venting is different even than holding space. Holding space is I really had a bad day. How is it I can help you? And it becomes an active interchange. That's kind of holding space versus just listen. That's all I need you to do. Two different kinds of things. And then there's the, and it's always okay in your you energy to ask, what is it you want? Do you want me to say something? Do you want advice? Or, what is it? In this extent, and we have Venus that is all about Venus likes Leo. Venus is very much in the what is beautiful to us, very much about the abundance for ourselves, kind of charming. Mars in Leo is very much about how do I align my will with that charisma that's happening. I personally am a Leo moon, so I already have that going. And then we have this Cancer energy. Cancer.
I was just about to say the same thing.
This Cancer energy. Yeah. Cancer energy in there. And Cancer is such an interesting energy. We talked a little bit about the other day because Cancer is the energy of our closet, what we hold private, what's behind doors, what we use when we feel like using it. And yet when it's the sun in Cancer, we're kind of cleaning the closet out. We're kind of, how apropos actually for today's date. We're kind of looking at it, deciding, is this what I'm comfortable with? Or do I want to change it? Do I want to put it somewhere else? And that's why it's really important, especially with all these other Leo energies, having us really trying to align that we do this work in a safer space. It's the, do I put my underwear out on the line? Probably not.
It's funny you should talk about that. I have to bring that up. Very funny conversation, and I might be bold enough to show you. So let's see how this may become an X-rated show for one, and for my 3 crones and a woo-woos out there. And I think I'm going to tag them on this because I think they're going to get a big kick out of this conversation. But as you speak about putting the underwear out there on the line. Today I had gone to my dad's house and my daughter and her husband, my son-in-law, were there. And I have on these shorts, and I really should show you guys because you'll get a kick out of it. And my daughter turns around and says to me, are you like starting a trend? I'm like, what do you mean starting a trend? She goes, well, your underwear is showing. I'm like, my underwear is showing? She goes, well, yeah, you got a hole in your leg and I can see your underwear. So you're starting a trend. I said, well, theoretically, I don't know if I'm starting a trend, but I have on what we call boy shorts. So it's not like, with the women's shorts, with the women's panties, they wear either bikinis, high, whatever the hell, thongs, whatever the shit is. Mine are boy shorts. So my underwear, like if you're wearing, if the guys out there wearing their boxers, my underwear come down to my thigh. But my underwear are cute because on the front of my underwear, it has hearts and love. And like I said, let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can fix it so I can show. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yes, I can. We can see it.
But you can see it, yeah. So yeah, my daughter was asking me. She goes, "So what is this, a trend?" And I said to her, I said, "Why are you looking at my underwear anyway?" And she goes, "Because you're showing it." So I was like, "Well," I said, "It's not that I'm purposely showing. It's just that they're boy shorts, so they come down."
As women, though, I'm now past menopause. We have on certain underwear for certain days of the month, all of that kind of stuff. And it's just nothing we're going to have this big public conversation that we're having right now with. But it's that kind of energy. This is my most private energy. This is where I want to nurture this? Do I want to change it? What do I want to do? And so, it is summertime. A lot of time we spend quiet time outside doing kind of reflective things. And this is the energy of Cancer. But we have this extra energy in Leo really wanting us to go very deep and really look at our consciousness. And because we stepped into this divinity, we started in March, and with Pluto's transition into Aquarius, it's very much that our consciousness is expanded, and we're pulling people into that expansion. So again, who we are around, we're pulling into that private expansion energy. So it's just a word of, if this is not the time to be hanging out with the old group because they don't accept that you're looking at things differently, it's fine not to do it. That's the other thing that's happening is we are re-engineering these relationships. I heard a gentleman named Lee Harris did a really great job succinctly putting this together. We are re-engineering who we're hanging around with and wanting to put less effort into certain kinds of relationships because there's other things that are being stretched, our consciousness, and those are the people we kind of want to just be around. So understanding all these you energies, this is not selfish. And if it is, there's nothing wrong with selfish. It's not about, as long as I'm not doing it at the cost of someone. Sometimes it's about us. That's just what it is, And there's, Joe called it a volcano. Lee Harris calls it a big boom. But there's this big revolutionary, revealing kind of energy that is stepping forth because we have all of this. Let's look at our private. Let's look at our public. Cancer is the sign of the most private, receptive energy in the expressiveness of the sun.
Yes. And when we think about it, I've been following this amazing woman. I don't know if she qualifies herself to be a healer, transformer, whatever it is. Her name is Dolores Cannon.
Oh, yeah. Dolores Cannon. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's been speaking a lot about how we are in this new energy of, she calls the new earth. And that the earth is being split up too, theoretically speaking. And most of us are in the space where our frequencies are rising. And we are definitely moving into this higher frequency. And there will be a lot of people that will be left behind because they're not working in this new frequency. They're very stuck. And I'm going to use that word for today. They're stuck in that 3D and they're not willing to see things in a different way. The word I'm hearing right now is they're being very stubborn.
Yeah. Oh, and, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they are.
They're feeling it, but they're trying to assign that, not that higher consciousness expanding. Like, it's all right to say, I really don't understand what it is, but I know that it's more expanding. They're trying to make it fit into what they understand. And so that's what some of the anger is about. Some of the, I'm going to legislate this into that this will not be any different. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So I'm finding her quite fascinating when I'm catching her on some of her reels that she's talking, and then I'm pulling her up on YouTube as well, and I'm like,
Yeah,
just
because
wow.
she's so far ahead. I mean, she's from the 1990s. She passed away, I think, in 2014. And
Hmm.
long before this other awakening, here is this woman who looks like your grandmother and my grandmother, who's just like, oh, yeah. And she does. I have a couple friends who very much are studying her technique. Um, just read a book by a woman who was trained by one of her people, Sarah Bresk Cosme, Cosme, um, who had in these past life regressions found these things that were the same. These were common DNA memories that have come through Atlantean times, Lemurian times, all of those things, and it's very open right now. And so yeah, so it's understanding that these are a lot of you energies and you can tap in. I liked what my friend Jeanette Biro said this week. All of us hold different. She with the Rainbow Council hold different colors. And what was fascinating to me, which I hadn't thought about, is if we all did it the same at the same time, it would be the beehive mentality, where we're so focused on one thing, other things don't get through. So we
Yes,
need the diversity. And
yes.
so, yeah, I sent Deborah that video because she talked to the Rainbow Council, and it
Yes, and I
was
just also want to shout out before we go further, because I do want people to know that we see them. We have a few people who are watching. We have, if I can say her last name correctly, we have Diana Tech Verk, if I say that correctly, and if I did, my apology. If I didn't, my apologies. We do have one of the three crones in the woo woo who is jumping on right now, Damaris. She's going to get a big kick. She'll have to go back and watch a little while earlier when Kitty and I were chatting about underwear. Now I know the
cleaning your closets and underwear. Yeah.
Yes, I know the Maris might be a little not quite familiar with that, because that was something that when I was on the Three Crones and the Woo Woo, that was like our big topic. Every time we got together, we spoke about underwear. So yeah, so that's why I called them in. And then I also see who else is here with us, who's popping in. That's it for now, but go ahead and put those comments in. Let us know how you feel, how your energy is. Let us know if you are feeling this whole process of this cancer energy. I know I'm feeling this cancer energy. How you're feeling about yourself. Now, Kitty, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned something about wanting to know the energy of the numbers for today. Is that what
Um,
you mentioned?
Today, I'd be curious to know the energy of the numbers for June 30th, because that's when uh, I'm laughing because there's a slight downhill in this office, and when I hit it the right way, woo, I go across the screen. Um, so I'm on my own little amusement ride. Yeah, because there is so much right now about this owning yourself and having compassion for it that I don't get it all. I want to take a nap today. I actually said that to Joanne. It didn't work out, but I just wanted to take a nap. Who I am, what am I shedding? Again, keep going back to the closet. I'm pulling everything out. What am I shedding? What is a no and a yes for me? All of these uh, habits I'm able to look at from a much more expanded energy that I'm and some of them I don't know what to do with. But that's where the compassion comes in. All right, Spirit, I do realize this is, so help me here, and and when we pay attention, there's so much more help. It could be in the form of somebody showing up. It could be in a topic that gets shown. It could be in a Dolores Cannon video that was from, or just different people that show up. But it was amazing this month between you, Sandra, Jeanette, Lee Harris. Um,
Joe
Pam Gray.
Monkman. Let's not forget
Yeah,
Joe Monkman.
yeah, Joe Monkman, Dolores Cannon, a woman I follow, another woman named Bella. Um, just all of the messages are the same. It's not even like same topic, literally the same. We are expanding. Bring people with you. This is more, so much, Deborah, so much about the rainbow, the lights, the colors. Pay attention. Things are being absorbed. Today was a day of expansion, but Mercury itself was not in communication with pretty much anything. And so it really was. Yesterday we absorbed it. Today we're letting it settle down. We're working with that Pluto and Saturn, and Pluto is in the ruler of Saturn. So we've got a lot of things about structure, flow of structure, transformation of structures happening internally. And then Spirit joins the party on the 30th.
Yes, yeah. So a couple of things. So before I dive into the numbers, based on today's energy and also June 30th energy, as Kitty mentions about what am I shedding? In reference that when you're looking in your closet, I mean, I know there's so many people out there that hold on to clothes based on maybe clothes that they used to fit into and they release some weight so they no longer fit into them, but they're holding on to it. One thing I want you to do is I want you to get rid of those clothes, because psychologically, if you're holding on to clothes of weight of what you used to be able to fit into because it was a bigger size for you and you're keeping it in your closet, you're putting the energy out there that there's a possibility that you're going to end up back to that weight again. So donate those big clothes, get them out of your closet, number one. Number two, take a look at your closet and see what it is that's in your closet. And if you haven't worn whatever it is that's in your closet for a 4 season, and that's the feng shui rule, 4 seasons, that's 1 year. Donate it out, sell it out, throw it away, whatever it is, but get rid of it because you don't need it in your closet anymore. It's taking up space, and everything is energetic space. So if you have things that you're not using, that's causing a blockage in your external space, which is preventing those new things from coming in. So that's the shedding the weight part, and that really works perfectly well with the Cancer season, because Cancer it's not just about, of course, it's about the nurturing. I always bring Cancer into 3 categories. The Cancer is our work that we're here to do. Cancer is the home, which is our family, the relationships we have with family, and then our relationship we have with our body. So pay attention to how you are starting to shed, whether it's your skin shedding like a snake, or you're actually starting to shed weight, because as you become more aligned, consciously aligned and aware to all of these energy shifts, without even trying, you may start to notice that you're going to release weight because you're letting go of the heaviness and the resistance, restrictions, and limitations you may have to everything and anything. And diet does not have to even play a role here. So pay attention to that as well. Now, let's talk about those numbers. So because I thought Kitty was talking about today, I want to talk about today's number, which is, if I'm not mistaken, today is the 25th. Yes?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I'm just going to break it down this way. That number 25, that choose about our partnerships that we have with ourselves, spirit, and everybody else. Overall, no one gets excluded. That 5 energy is reminding you about the changes that we are all experiencing in the relationships we have with everybody, specifically your contracts, your soul's contract that you are here to fulfill. And you're also here to rewrite your soul's contracts. So if there's a contract that you've done everything in your power to work on, you've done the work, but you still feel like that pattern keeps just showing up and showing up, this is an opportunity for you to sit back, forgive yourself, and let it go. So that's that change in your contracts. So that 25 adds up to a 7, which comes back to our contracts again. It's about bringing more harmony into your experience that you have with others, yourself, and everything else in between. 7 and 6 is 13, which is our 4. And that's your foundation. That's your structure. That's very much aligned with the Pluto Saturn energy that we have going on right now. Your structure is changing. And I know for me, it is definitely changing right in front of my face. There's no denial. I can sit back and say, no, it's not, but it is. And if you let go of your resistance, and just for a moment, I'm going to ask that you also let go of the idea that you have free will. Because even though, yes, you have free will, and you can sit back and say, well, you know what? I don't want it to change. I want it to stay exactly the way it is. You do have that free will, but that free will creates resistance for something that needs to change. So allow it to change. Give it permission just to let it go. So when we take those the number between your 6 and 7, and then of course the collective energy 2023, which is the overall energy for everybody, again, we're back to contracts. We add it all up and we get a beautiful 10. 10? Yeah, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 11. I'm sorry, 11. 11.
Even
Oh my
better.
God. Even better. Now let's talk about 11 for just a minute. For those of you who are not aware, in numerology, there are 3 numbers that carry what we call a master number: 11, 22, 33. Anytime we have that number, which is 11, 11 is your reminder that you are a master healer. You are the healer. You get to heal yourself. You don't have to go to somebody else to help you heal. You get to do it on your own. Always remember that when you do go to a healer, let's say you come to me, all I really do is hold space for you, and I give you the tools that you can actually start to move into so you can do the healing work on your own. I may guide you and support you, but I am not healing you. I'm helping you to tap into your own energies. As the master healer you are. That 11, when you think about it, is very much associated with Aquarius energy. So that connection you have with your community, and even though we never break down a master number to a single digit, it does carry the same meaning of the 2, which is your partnerships at a much higher vibration. And that 2 is your Taurus energy, which we already know that Taurus, we have our North Node, we have Jupiter expansion, and then we also have Uranus. Thank you. Uranus, that's helping us to really wake up, to become more awakened to the fact that there's so much more than what we can see on the
Right.
in
That
front
is
of us.
one of the rulers of that Aquarian 11. And because Pluto is in Aquarius and the portal of 11 is November, which is Scorpio time, this is a very powerful marriage always anyway. 1111, that portal with that Aquarian and that transformation of what the vision is. And now that we have the planet of transformation that has dipped to have us change, very, very powerful. Cheryl said she's got all 3 of those numbers, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
And then, yes, it's very, so that makes sense to me that I wanted to know what this 11 is. 1 falls away, 1 remains. That is the personal favorite of mine, is the number 11.
Yes. And now, talking about June 30th, when Neptune retrogrades in Pisces, that particular energy, that date itself, we're going to break it down. We already know that 6 is all about healing. 6 is about making time. You schedule time to heal. 6 is associated with our Virgo energy, which is about your body system. Organizing time to put yourself on your schedule so you can heal. Every one of us are going to experience something in our body that's going to call to our attention, because our body is our biggest teacher and messenger in regards to what needs your attention. So that's that 6 energy. That 3 energy is about communicating. Our bodies are communicating to us. Our body is letting us know that something needs to come back into alignment. That 3 energy is also about your collaborations, what it is you are learning, what it is you are teaching, what it is you are creating. So this is a very creative energy as well. Let's not forget that 0. The 0 reminds us that we do have choices, such as that free will. We can make the decision that we don't want to change anything, that we can stay exactly where we are. But in my opinion, why would we want to do that? Why would we want to stay exactly where we are? Is it really that damn good exactly where you are right now? And remember that even though it might be rainbows and butterflies and unicorns right now, eventually that's going to shift, because nothing ever stays the same, even if you don't do anything to change it. That things will change by themselves. So be in that space, be willing to expand your energy to want to change something. Now we have that 6, you got that 3, which is a 9. So that 9 is about our transformation. 9 is about, again, letting go. 9 is about decluttering the closet. It's about our evolution. It's about an ending. It's about moving forward. So when we now add our 9 plus our 7 from 2023, we get that powerful 7. And that's the energy of June 30th. It's a 7. It's a 7 energy in regards to our contracts of what we are here to bring more harmony into. And I believe that's exactly what Neptune in Pisces is going to help us with, is our contracts.
Well, and Neptune in Pisces is going to join Saturn in Pisces. Very much about focusing that spirit, and spirit being in the focus when you align, along with how we're transforming our structures to be able to align. So very much about that 7 clarity and that 6 healing, because we're getting ready for, you can call it a volcano, bomb, whatever, this huge energy. And astrologically, it's because the North Node moves to Aries. My song for Aries now is I'm unstoppable today. That's that energy. And Aries, Chiron, is sitting on the world's IC, which for those that your IC is like your hidden underground river. It's an energy you're not as aware of, but it's always under the surface. And for the world, this beginning, knowing something's starting, and Chiron is the wound of my authentic self. So there is this bigger, again, look at understanding your you energies. Something is really asking you, can I step into who I really am and accept it with compassion? Because and there are going to be people falling away that can't. Somewhere in the middle, finding the dance that allows this expanded consciousness to help you bridge and come to understand. One gentleman, and so we're going to be looking at blocks, but not just blocks that were in our way. There are also blocks that have kept us from our potential, that we are going to be tapping into. So it's a very interesting time because it's kind of a calm joy underneath. And many of us are feeling like, I just want to go over here and enjoy it. And yet, anybody who watched the last one, and of course, Joanne saw me that night when I drove through Rainbow. It was such a changing thing for me to go, this was a miracle. And how I spread this, how I communicate this becomes so much more. All of us are getting those kinds of taps. And I wish on all of you to feel what that felt like, to go, oh, I didn't even know I could do this. I didn't know anybody could do this. And there's so many things. And also be aware, though, as you're cleaning your closet out, you're going to get that piece of something that has a stain on it that you liked so much that you've held on to it, but it isn't serving you anymore. Or that thing that brings up anger, like, oh, that was we're going to have these little flares up. The difference is it a flare up because I'm setting boundaries for things, or is it a flare up because I want to take a flamethrower and I'm kind of in this, how dare they do this to me, versus this really is a time of big time letting go, dealing with what's in front of us in our own closet. So, yeah. And then how am I going to organize my closet when I put it back together?
Exactly. And what was coming up for me when you were talking about driving through the rainbow, and it obviously I've heard you talk about the story several times, but it's coming up for me right now. And the question is, if you can recall, because I know that was an exciting time for you, did you notice if any other cars were like driving next to you or behind you that were also going to be driving through that rainbow?
There was a car in front of me, and I've actually tried to I don't remember. I took a picture earlier before I came to the rainbow, of that rainbow in the sky. And there was a car in front of me. It was a black car, main license plate. I even tried to see if I could see it. I do not remember if it was still in front of me at that point. This is a 2-lane. It's called Airline Road, which is all about the bees, because it was such an interesting thing was already thinking about it. And again, it's that hive mentality. We don't all want to go at once. We want to hold the vibration that we have so that we expand all of the colors. but because there's not a right way to do this. I might be into chakras, rainbows, and astrology. You might be into Reiki, yoga, and um, what's that stuff everybody takes in Peru?
Oh, yes.
It's not
Oh
ashwagandha; it's the other one.
no, it's oh my goodness gracious, I can't think of it at the moment. But
Starts
yes, I
with an
know.
A. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, yes.
and so it does. How you arrive is your own personal journey with spirit. Um, is it's this freedom of mind that we're all letting things fall away. We're all cleaning out the I'm remembering Carol Burnett saying, Eunice, you or Vicki Lawrence saying to the character, you got cobwebs in the windmill of your mind. All the cobwebs in the windmill of our minds. We are churning. We are remembering who we are. We are no idea what that noise is. Sounds like a low flying plane.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what it sounded like.
But anyway, this was a big country road. And so there weren't lots of cars to be around. It would have been, but nothing had come on the other side for a very long time. So it just was very interesting. The whole experience was interesting because I kept going through it. It's not a flat, it's a prism. And so it went on for a little bit of time. And then as my hood would hit, I'd see it rise in front of me again, and I'd go through it. And I kept going to about mid windshield level. And then by then the trunk would break, or the hood would break it, and another one would come. It went on for quite a few sheets that kept coming up. And it was really fascinating. But those miracles are there. And this is that boom that's coming, this understanding, this figuring out what is our responsibility, who can I rise with, who we may part for a while, maybe when they find their path, it's the who was it, Rascal Flatts, pointing me in a crooked road. God bless the crooked road that gets me to where I'm going.
Exactly. Yeah, and when we think about this energy, this final week of June, because we're on the 25th, we have five, what is it? There's 30 days or 31 days in June.
30 days, half September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except February, which has 28, and in leap year 29. Hey, that doesn't rhyme.
Yes. And Kitty will sing that song to me every time I ask her that question, because for the life of me, no matter how many times she sings that song to me, I still don't remember. Anyways, so because this is the last week of June, reminding yourself that again, that 6 energy from June, the 7 from the collective 2023, this is our 4. This is your last week in that 4 energy for the month, your foundation. How is your foundation changing? When we speak of foundation, your home, your work, your body, how are you changing? And as we move into our July energy, which is our 7 energy, which when we think about it, we're going to have that 7-7, not just on the calendar for July 7, but this entire month as we move into July will be a portal energy of that 7-7. Anytime a number repeats itself, it's a portal. As we move into July, we're going to have the opportunity to connect with spirit. The veil is going to be very thin. This is an opportunity that not just during your sleep state, but during your awake state, you will be able to connect with spirit at a much faster pace. And that 7-7 reminds us, again, it's 14. It's that 5 energy. So we're back to the word of change. What is it that you want to change? What is it that you want to change? And what are you willing to commit to so you can make that change happen? Because we can all sit back and say, oh, I want it to change. But if we do not put effort into action, we're going to be exactly where we are right now at the end of July. So action is so important to have change come into play. Yes, the universe will step in and change things around you. But if you are not doing the work, it can be anxiety ridden if you're not doing your part to it. So eliminate the anxietiness, eliminate the stress, and get out there and do something fun so you can change the beautiful energy
right.
that we are moving into.
That's really important. Doing something doesn't mean I have to climb a mountain, and it can be simple. Like every day I'm going to add where I stop for a minute. I can put a bird feeder up and I'm going to promise to watch the birds. Something that gives you, because in this Cancer energy, which we do most of the month, is it is, people often think Cancer because of nurture is about the heart. Cancer is about the third eye. And it's about the ultimate mother energy, which is very intuitive, very psychic, how mothers take care of their children. Excuse me. But it's also about the child, inner child energy, how children are that simple and that psychic. And those two are together. It's that space between mother and children, how we are both children and we are both mothers, depending. It could be a fur baby, guys, It's
Exactly.
it's that taking care energy and the space, that understanding of space in between. That's why, again, it's so important who you clean your closet with, who you visit with. And that can be some of your work. You know what? This is probably not the conversation I'm going to have sitting around at Dunkin' Donuts with with, and nothing wrong with Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not saying anything, but it might not be the energy where these people I meet, but I really going to find a different channel to listen to, going to look at something a little bit differently, a different commitment for yourself.
It's so funny you say Dunkin' Donuts because I go into Dunkin' Donuts quite often because I every once in a while like my cocoa, and it doesn't matter who is there. I always, for whatever, and it could just be my energy people. I always find myself having these amazing conversations where I enlighten people. I truly believe, and not to hoot my own horn, but I truly believe that anytime someone comes into my energy, how they show up before they come into my energy and how they leave once they left my energy is an entirely different person because I leave them with
Mhm.
so much damn information.
I'm just saying, especially those people though early. Joanne, you're kind of the exception too. Like in you've been doing this a long time, and obviously you've also worked with attracting people who are willing to hear that. It takes us a little while when we first start to figure out who I can say something to and who I can't. I also was very blessed, have always been able to say the most outrageous things to people and not have them get mad, just because the way it comes out. But that is also why I do what I do now. So it's such an interesting time. It really is understanding your you energies, and please have compassion for them. I still have to say, you know what? I don't really understand why this is my reaction or why this is in front of me, but I'm going to wrap myself in my spirit blanket of compassion and say, I know, as my higher self says, I know you don't understand, but I appreciate that this is bothering you. So
Yes. I'm looking at my phone because I want to pull up something. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, everybody. If you can see that little, can you all see that? I don't know if I should go further
I
back.
don't
That
know
little,
what it is.
it's a cartoon character. I was trying to hope that. Let me see if that will help. Can anybody see that?
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I was in the bank the other day, and apparently, for whatever the reasons are, that there are people out there that believe that I look like this character. And obviously it leaves an imprint on people because people are always staring at me.
Oh, that's from the Disney movie.
Yes, yes. I'm actually going to send this picture over to Kitty so she can get a big laugh.
I
Because
know who that character is, and she's the rebel female. She's the first Disney princess who wasn't much of a princess.
I just sent the picture over to Kitty because yesterday, like I said, I was in the bank and one of the tellers, one of the people who sit at the desk, she had said to me that every time I come into the bank, she stares at me because it's like she feels like I am that character. Now, a funny story going back many, many months back, I was walking to another store, and the woman at the register, a young girl, kept staring at me. And I was kind of wondering like why she was staring at me. But anyway, once I finished my shopping and I got to the register, I happened to get to her, and she's just staring at me, and I'm like, "Is there a reason why you're staring at me?" And she goes, "Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out if you're that character." I'm like, "What character?" And at the time, I didn't know who the hell she was talking about, so of course I had to go and research.
It's how do you say it? Meridia?
I guess so. Yes.
It's
yes.
from the movie Brave.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. And let me tell you that not only do I have like adults staring at me, but I have children, literally children running up after me, pointing their fingers saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," and it's the most funniest thing in the world. So yes, I do leave quite an impression for some people.
She yes, because her name is Meridia. The movie is Brave, and it was the first time where a Disney princess was the character. She's a Scottish princess, has received good reports from critics. Breath of fresh air amongst princesses, because she is her own heroine. She is for the people to help the people, control, and she insists that she must control her own destiny. First time, really, that was a Disney princess kind of way.
Sounds a little bit like me, don't you think so?
Yeah.
I sort of beat at my own drum, I would think. I do things the way I want to do it. So, Kitty, is there anything you want to share about this amazing energy that we are in for Cancer season and everybody?
I just want to look quickly at the week.
All right, do that, and then we're going to pull some cards to sort of help everybody gain some more insight.
Very interesting. Not a surprise in my book. On the 28th, the moon moves in Eastern Standard Time into Scorpio. And she's a busy moon. She is trining Mercury, the Sun, Saturn. The Sun is also trining Saturn, so that's really interesting. That's a lot of emotion. Flip-flop energy with our expansion. What do we do and transform in our expansion? And she's squaring that Pluto energy. So there's a resistance, which means there's a safety valve there on what we are transforming, but very much about our power, very outer planet. So this is really big energy. So I would say on the 28th.
That's on Tuesday?
Pardon?
That's on Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday. And it was funny because on the 24th was the first time I can remember, I think ever, that I've been doing the daily reports. There wasn't one aspect. But that is setting that tone, because those are outer planets for at least the next 2 days when Mercury moves in to talk to all those planets too. So at 5:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 30th. So the 28th, 29th, and 30th has a lot of that understanding your you energy stepping forward. Because, oh yeah, that's right. Tomorrow, Mercury moves into Cancer. So we have, Mercury has sped through its home sign of Gemini. Usually it's somewhere between 21 and 24 days, 14 and a half days. That's a lot. It's cut off over a third. Yes. So that's why it's been very quick, very much gathering, sending the information, and now it wants you to nurture it.
Yes, yeah. So people, pay attention to your dreams as well. And I'm sure many of you were actually remembering your dreams, because as we already know, we dream every night, but if we don't remember the dream, there's no message. And the only time we do remember the dream, we do remember that we've dreamt, is because there's a message there. And I truly believe that more of us are going to be remembering those dreams more rapidly, because those messages need to come through. And unfortunately, there's lots of people out there that are distracted. So the best time to receive a message is when you can't be distracted. It's in your sleep state, when you're quiet and the most vulnerable, where spirit comes in. So pen and pencil.
Won't help you too much.
Let me get this together. Pen and paper. How about we got that going? Pen and paper at your bedside. So this way here, when you do wake, you can pay attention. And the other thing I want you to pay attention to is if you happen to wake in the middle of the night to get up to go to the bathroom, very quickly look at the clock and write that number down, because that's a message in itself that spirit literally wanted you to wake up for. So look at that number, whatever that number is, write it down, and then add it up. And if you are not familiar with numerology, feel free to shout out it to me. My email is scrolling on the bottom, and I'll give you some insight to what that message is, because plenty of people are being woken up at nighttime for that short period of time, whether it's to get up to go to the bathroom, or maybe you just wake up, your eyeballs open like mine do. I mean, my eyeballs just open. It's like, why am I awake? I just open right to the clock, and I'm like, okay, got the message, and I go back to sleep.
You know, we've never talked about this, guys, but I do exactly the same thing. I wake up, I add the clock up, and then I go back to sleep.
Exactly.
And I look at what the message is. Recently, the number 17 has occurred quite a bit for me, and the number 11 and 8. Of course, 17 is 8. So there is some bigger transformation, bigger healing I'm in touch with and doing both. It's very, very, very interesting time. But yeah, this week, 28, 29, and 30. Be prepared, they just said. And notice animals. Animals are coming forth. It's all one story. It's not even as much about synchronicities as it once was. Cheryl says, I always check the clock and it's usually 4:30.
Yeah, I just read that too. I just literally, just as she put it, and you were reading it, I was reading it too, and I was going to comment that 4:30. Remember that 4 is your foundation. The 3 is what you are talking to yourself about. That it works out to be a 7. The contract that you have with all of your foundations, all the connections you have going on, especially when you think of that 4, it's about Cancer, your home, your family, your friends. So those contracts that you might be in the process of trying to either renew the contracts or terminate the contracts. And it's okay to terminate contracts, because you can't take everybody with you. You're expanding people. You can't take those people with you that are not expanding. It's not your job to hold on to them and cuddle them and all that. You got to let them go. So you can
always remember they have a higher, yes, always remember they have a higher self too. And you can send them messages to their higher self.
Yes.
You know, if you, so.
Yes. In fact, 2 things I want to bring up, as Kitty just said, about higher self. When we speak about our dream state, and waking up and seeing the clock, first thing, pay attention to, let's say if you do have loved ones that have crossed over, pay attention to their birthday number, and pay attention if you remember the date, the day that they crossed over, if those numbers show up as well, because that means they're trying to deliver a message to you. Like I'm always seeing 1024 and 312. 312 is the date my mom crossed over. 1024 is the date she was born. So when I see those numbers, there's messages there. And also, in your sleep state, if you want to have a conversation with someone that maybe are not on the same vibration with you right now, maybe there's a conflict going on, in your sleep state before you go to sleep, connect with your higher self. Your higher self connects with their higher self, and have a conversation with them, because you can actually do that. You can literally heal contracts by connecting with their higher self. When you do this, understand that you're connecting with their higher self. So when that person in the real world finally evolves enough so they can connect with their higher self, they will then get the message at that point. So it may not be in a time that you would like it to be, but they will eventually get that message. And it's very rewarding when you connect with someone's higher self while you're in your higher self as well. So try that out and see how that works.
All right, I'm going to pull a card.
Yes, because there's been a lot of information tonight. Goodness gracious, so much information. Woof.
And I'm going to ask specifically about the energy that is best spirit for us to use this week. How interesting
And
is
as
that?
Kitty's looking for that card, I'm just going to comment on Cheryl's statement. She said that's hard. So what I'm going to ask is Cheryl and everybody else who has the feeling of something being hard, shift that thought process. If you think it's going to be hard, it will be hard. So redirect that thought. It's not hard. You're going to make it as effortless as you can because again, you're connecting from your sleep state. You're connecting with your higher self and you're having that conversation with their higher self. It's not hard at all. And when you can think of it as that, as it being just that for anything, nothing's hard. It's just that we have to set some sort of energy to it. We have to make it hard or easy, simple, fast, slow, whatever. Eliminate all of that and just know that everything is equally the same.
Well, and what I like about it is because in this 3D understanding, my humanness to have compassion for, I have more hidden rules that have been taught. The shoulds, thou shalt not should on thyself. And me allowing myself to talk to their higher self allows them their journey. And I, with the best intentions of energy, then talk to their higher self. I don't yell at their higher self. I say, boy, I really hope they understand how loved they are and that they can, do whatever they do. It gives you something to do without going through their journey. Interesting. 2 cards. First one that came.
She's using my deck. Yay!
I am using your deck.
It's so funny that you should pull that card out because when I split mine, but I shuffled the since. When I split mine in half, that's the actual card that was on the bottom.
So that king and queen, and again, this is Cancer. It is the ultimate female and the ultimate male. It is the ultimate receptive with the ultimate expressive. And 2 is the partnership that kings and queens. Very much that. And by the way, Cancer is the sexual organs. It is the stomach. And of course, the other card I got is yellow. It is those systems that protect us, the fluids that protect us. It is our stomach. It is the sex organs. It is where we survive, where we, in the sacral chakra, where we understand I am, connected to the earth. I've already connected my root. And then the next one is 18, a 9. And so transformation, this is the solar plexus, again, where the stomach is. So these 2 make perfect sense that we're talking about, though it is the third eye working with our intuitiveness, our gut feelings, and what it is that we are growing, nurturing. And of course, 18 is 9. That's that cosmic number with transformation. So makes perfect sense that these would be the 2 that came up.
Yes. And I'm loving it because, like I said, when Kitty was shuffling hers and I split my deck in half, the Queen and King card came up. But since then, I shuffled. And when I did, the card that showed up, and I'm going to pull the bottom card as well. Play. Yes, with all the work that we are doing, and it could be very serious work, but you got to remember to play because that's the balance of this all. The work that we're here to do, we are also here to play. So do whatever it is you can do so you can play, whatever that looks like for you. The throat chakra, be playful when you speak. Be playful when you speak to other people. It does not have to be serious. You could be playful. You could be fun. Allow that energy of playfulness to show up in your energy field. We're back to our 7, that 1 and 6, that 7 energy. This is about having more harmony in your energy system. The more harmony you have in your system, the more your system is going to feel free, calm, and more at peace. So all of the physical symptoms may not show up as intensely. So that's the first one. And I wanted to flop into the back one. And I think it's appropriate because we have the solar plex, which is what Kitty had. Success. This is definitely a period of success. This is about abundance. This is about seeing everything of what it is you wish to have that you already have it already. There is nothing that you desire you can't have. And as long as you focus on that you can have anything you desire, you will be successful. You have to trust this process. And what I'm hearing is you do need to do the work. And sometimes, yes, sometimes the work may seem like it's challenging to do. Like, for example, if you carry a 4 energy in your birthday, like I do, I'm born on the 4th of the month. If you're born in the fourth, if you're born in the 4th month of the if you're born on April, if your year that you're born in adds up to a 4, fours usually have to work really, really hard to get what they want. It's just the fact of it. But the reality of it all is you do get what you want because you work disciplinedly enough to get the very thing you want. So that 8 energy is about the abundance, about success, about your achievements, about that harmony. It's the infinity of all infinities. But you got to trust the process.
And so I said, oh, get one more. You can't make this up. We have 8, 18, and 88. And this is, I often think the most important thing in the word marriage is the idea of coming together. And this is where we are. This is a marriage for ourselves, a marriage in those social contracts are marriages. And by the way, this adds to a 7. So this is back to that 7. Look at what contracts you are entering into. What things are you keeping in your closet? What things are you passing on, letting go, asking to change? What do you notice that maybe you don't have in your wardrobe that you are now going to go seek? So it is that contract.
Yes, and it's also the crown chakra.
Yep.
It is the crown chakra. It is the energy of your higher consciousness. It's the awareness. Bringing your awareness. It's what are you focused on right now? And if whatever it is you're focused on right now isn't exactly what it is you want to create, guess what, folks? Just turn your focus to something else. It's just that simple.
Yep,
it's that simple.
The soul's highest energy is moving into that rebirth, that beginning again, that Aries energy, the spark that sends us. And look what you got.
What's that?
And look what cards you just got.
Yes, we're going to end with this one because I think this is so appropriate for our Pluto Capricorn retrograde that we are in. I have been talking about this for some time now. We come with the number 7 again, just in case you forgot about the 7 energy of the contracts that we are in. Career change. We are all in that space where your career is going to look different. Now, doesn't mean your career is going to change. It could very well change. You may end up finding out that whatever it is you've been doing for the last 20, 30 years no longer is aligned with you. And you may find that you really love to do something else and you decide to go down a whole different path in your career. The career you currently have, the energy of it might change, such as what mine is doing. I mean, what it looked like if Kitty would have met me, oh my God, 22 years ago. First of all, I don't know if, maybe Kitty and I would have been chatting 22 years ago, but the conversations that I'm having right now was not the conversations I was having 22 years ago. So my career is definitely changing because it's shifting the whole frequency of it. The vibration of the work that I came here to do when I first started was very different than the vibration of it now. And let's talk about the indigo, which is this Cancer season. It is the third eye.
It is.
It is the third eye. You get to create your career. And you must remember that, yes, there is a career change coming in. We are going to see.
Remember, your career isn't always your job. It's your work. Exactly. And you may keep your job, but how you do it, your career, how you're showing up for your work in the world, your persona, that's what that 7's about.
Exactly. Your contracts. And as I said earlier, for those of you who are just jumping on now, you have the ability with this energy that we are in to sit and review your contracts and rewrite them if need be. Rewrite them, change them, cut the cords on them. But remember, it's about if you've done the work. Have you done everything you can in your power to really work on changing the patterns. And if you feel you have done everything you can in your power to change the patterns, but you just can't seem to move forward from it, that's where you can go and change that contract. Love that. Love that. So to start off with, thank you everybody for being here. We have Anne who just showed up. Thank you so much for being here. Cheryl's been following us. There's a whole bunch of you who are here. I don't know if everyone is still here, but we had a nice group of folks here commenting and saying holy cow. Yeah, because this is some holy cow energy.
And it really is understanding the you energies. This is, you have here's your magic wand. Go ahead.
Yes.
Wave it.
Yes. Remember, guys, that you are the creator to your story. You are the main character to your story.
You are the hero.
Yes. If you do not like the character that you are playing right now, you get to step into your closet. Or like, who was it? Was it Superman that would go into the telephone booth and do his spin and change
Yes.
into a Superman? And what did Wonder Woman do? How did she change?
Spun.
There you go. So you could do one or the other. You guys out there, if you want to jump into the closet and just do your thing and come out as Superman, if you want to spin around, you could be Wonder Woman, whatever it is, you get to change the character that you were playing. So if you don't like the character, if you don't like what the script says about that character, you get to change it. That's your job. You get to change it. Kitty and I are not going to sit here and feel sorry for you. That's not our job. Sorry, we're not doing that. You get to change your character's role if you don't like the script. Simple and easy.
You pick the people in your play, in your story.
So. You wrote it, so you picked it. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Carol. Bye, guys.
As usual, Kitty and I come together to play. If you have any questions that you'd like to connect with Kitty about, her email's strolling on the bottom. And if you have anything you want to connect with me about, my email's on the bottom as well. We will be back to share some more insight and have some more fun. But until then, wherever you are in the world, have a great day.